All right, here we go. Moving on. Washington is expected to part ways with quarterback Alex Smith. We've been kind of seeing this for a little bit now, but it is kind of almost confirmed. It's like 99.9% confirmed right now. So once again, it is unfortunate for Alex Smith here. I mean, he's a great story coming back, getting his leg getting absolutely demolished, coming back and playing, and he had a decent season, nothing great. And this is why you have to move off of Alex Smith here if you're Washington. He provided a good kind of start here for this kind of new age of Washington football here, but Taylor Heinicke definitely has to take over. He was the best quarterback of the three last season, or you go and draft a quarterback and, see how he competes with Taylor Heinicke come in this offseason. But back to Alex Smith, where can he go? I really don't think anywhere. I think his career unfortunately has to be over. He's 36. Yes, let's just look at his stats. I mean, you can tell right off the rip there, it's nothing great. Now, he did lead his team to 5-1 record this season. Not bad, but we know the defense was really kind of the majority of their success really throughout this entire season. We see 66% completion percentage. Absolutely fantastic. We love that. We love 62 to 65, and if you're above 65, that's definitely what we're talking about here. So very well done on the completion percentage. 1,500 yards, which is about in 6 games. It's about 250 yards a game, about that. So kind of right on par with average. But then these touchdowns and interception ratios: 6 touchdowns, 8 picks, not great. And when we look at his career, he never really threw a lot of touchdowns. I mean, the most touchdowns he ever threw in a season was 23, and then the next highest after that was 20. Or no, 26 was the highest, then 23, then 20. But look at all these teens: 18, 14, 17, 13, 18, 15, 10, 6. I mean, I know he only played 6 games this season, but still, he doesn't throw the ball that well. He doesn't, score touchdowns, which you have to do, settling for field goals if you make it into the red zone, into kind of past midfield territory. So he doesn't throw a lot of touchdowns. We're seeing kind of a decent amount of picks with those kind of lack of touchdowns that he has. So nothing truly great here just in his entire career anyways. And then the biggest thing to look at is the yards per attempt. We're looking at only 6.3 yards per attempt. That's not yards per completion. That's just per attempt. So that accounts incomplete passes and complete. So he's really not airing out the ball. And you may be like, oh, 6.3 yards, that's kind of good. But let's compare it around the rest of the league. I mean, probably the two best we're just going to go pure passing quarterbacks, because when we start talking about dual threat, then we're going to start talking about, they've got, the running aspect, so that helps them with the pass game. So let's just go pure passers. And, probably the two best pure passers of this season were definitely Aaron Rodgers. He just won MVP. He just won MVP this season, I'm pretty sure. So here we go. I mean, look what Aaron Rodgers does. Yards per attempt was 8.2, which I'm almost certain is the highest in the league. So, I mean, we're talking about 2 whole yards per attempt more than Alex Smith. And now let's go to probably the second best pure passer in this league right now is probably Tom Brady. And even Tom Brady was averaging 7.6 yards per attempt. Now let's start talking about kind of the bottom tier quarterbacks. A quarterback that we clown a lot is Mitch Trubisky. Let's see where his yards per attempt is at. And he's got 6.9. So Mitch Trubisky's even outperforming Alex Smith. Now, who is the worst quarterback of just this season alone? That's all we're talking about right now. It's just this season alone. We'd probably have to say Carson Wentz. It was a really flounder season. Of all the starting pure passing quarterbacks, we'd probably have to say that Carson Wentz was probably the worst one. And we see his yards per attempt is 6.0. So, I mean, Alex Smith just a hair better than Carson Wentz. And if we want to kind of get exactly what Alex Smith is of a quarterback right now, well, let's go to Big Ben, folks. We know the limited arm. We know he was a true gunslinger. But look at his yards per attempt this season. 6.3, exactly what Alex Smith's quarterback yards per attempt is. 6.3. He's Big Ben, folks, an aging Big Ben with not the cannon that he used to have. I mean, look at all these yards per attempt that Big Ben had in his career. 8.9, 8.9, 7.5, 7.8, 7.0, 8.6, 8.2, 7.9, 7.3, 7.3, 8.1, 8.4, 7.5, 7.5, 7.6, 7.6, 5.7. That was in 2019, and then 6.3 this season. So we can clearly see the drop off, and that's what Alex Smith is, folks. It's unfortunate. Now, I understand he's only working with Terry McLaurin, and that's really it. So I get that, but still, at the end of the day, you have to elevate the play around you. You can't just be like, well, I have no great wide receiver, so I guess we can't win a ring this season. You can't play like that. So it is unfortunate. An aging 36-year-old Alex Smith coming back from that huge crippling injury, 6.3 yards per attempt this season, 8 interceptions, 6 touchdowns, and yes, I get it, only 6 games started, but still, I think it's over for Alex Smith, and like we say, it is truly unfortunate because of the kind of the heart and the grit that he plays with, but I think that's it. I think he has to kind of ride off in the sunset, go off on top. This was a great season for him. Don't kind of hang around too long and then kind of be an afterthought, be like, oh yeah, Alex Smith, yeah, he was pretty good, but then he got injured. Oh, but then he came back, and then he just really was looking really not good. Like that, I don't want that to be Alex Smith's legacy, his story 10, 15 years down the road of when Takes by Fan is still, on the air, and, somebody brings up Alex Smith, and we have to go kind of look at him and be like, damn, why did he stay 2 extra years long and just kind of ruin kind of just his image and his stats and his kind of just overall totality of what he did in the NFL. So if he wants to play, great for him. Definitely do it if that's his prerogative. We're not trying to stop him from playing. I just don't know who's going to take that. Who's going to take 6.3 yards per attempt? I just don't know. I mean, Pittsburgh's like, yeah, Big Ben, you can play, but we're going to pay you in like double cheeseburgers from McDonald's. Like, we're not paying you any real money. So we'll see. We'll see what Alex Smith has got for the rest of his career, but definitely not here in Washington. And I don't know many teams that are going to be looking for an Alex Smith type of quarterback right now.